So all those doubting my NFT, you're looking at the guy. That's the reason that college athletes and high school athletes are getting paid today. Mr. Influencer to influencers. Secondly, Jimmy Kimmel, viral this. I fight to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet. And until they release the flight logs, you, the mainstream media, Hollywood, are all pedophiles to me. Eat dick.
Whoa.
Am I canceled yet.com?
Probably. Well, bad news for the deep state apparatus, the alpha males of society, the athletes, the most dominant men and the most attractive men to women, the men who other men wear their names on their backs, who all the other men wish they were, and who all the women wish they were with, are becoming truthers. This is a more important development than anybody realizes, because it isn't. There's only so much that you can do with these slick astroturfing. Even with billions of dollars like BlackRock pushing woke everything, you see people fight back. But the sociosexual hierarchy is a totally different thing. This operates on the primal level of human psychology. I know a lot of people and work with a lot of people. There can be a war in Ukraine, they haven't even heard about it, but you want to talk about the statistics in detail of the latest sports ball game, they can tell you everything that happened in every game across the country. Men follow the alpha males, and there isn't that many of them. If you're in high school, it's probably your quarterback, and maybe one other guy that's really good at skateboarding or something. If you're in college, it's probably a handful of the top athletes. There's just only a few men. And basically, they're the guys that can effortlessly command a harem of women, the most desirable women. That not all women are this way. Some would, want exclusivity, but there's a lot of women that are like, it's better to spend 5 minutes with the jacked athlete, cool guy and share him with 10 other girls than to just be with a humdrum, boring, regular guy. There are alpha males, and they are at the top of the hierarchy, and where they lead, humanity follows. They're not the smartest, though. They're not you, they're not me, we're not influencing anybody. They're not philosophers, except maybe Mike Tyson. But they are the alpha males. They are the men that are in charge. And there's no amount of money matters. This guy could be just flat broke. Doesn't matter. If it were caveman days where our sexual impulses still live, this guy would be the chief, and he would come out of his cave wearing a wolf hoodie with a club made of the skulls of his conquered enemies, and he would direct us and command us where the tribe was going to go and what we were going to do. Although money doesn't hurt. So that was MMA fighter Joel Bauman tells California, well, you heard what he told them. He called out Hollywood, the mainstream media, and even Jimmy Kimmel, demanding that they release the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs. There's no amount of raids or intimidation tactics that the FBI can pull now to scare this back into Pandora's box. It's out there. There is no stopping it now. Now, Jimmy Kimmel appears to have had his name appear on a fake list, but, he does carry water for a lot of the people who have been outed. Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, who went at least 26 times, Bill Gates, Matt Groening, fair number of other people that we know actually flew, at least on the plane. It's not just in the UFC. Alex Jones was right, written on head of pro basketball player during game. Royce White went out on the court with this written on his skull. This will wake up people that would never otherwise have been woke up. And when we're saying Alex Jones is right, I don't think he's talking about interdimensional aliens. We know what he's talking about. Alex Jones has been going on about this island and the corruption of the Clintons and Epstein for a long, long time. It's getting through to the alpha males. It's getting through to the most dominant men. It's getting through to the most desired men and the men that other men follow. And their numbers are not in the tens of thousands. They are in the millions and in the tens of millions. He also had an Alex Jones was right t-shirt as he made his entrance into the stadium. I'm willing to bet half the people in that stadium didn't even know who Alex Jones was. And now it won't take long before Alex Jones was right becomes a household saying, despite all the suppression. And he also ran for Congress in Minnesota's congressional district last year against the state's Democrat, Ilhan Omar. We almost had a truther knock out Ilhan Omar. Imagine how that would have been. And there's even less overt examples, but even subtly just not complying with the message. In baseball, a number of Tampa Bay Rays players decide not to wear the rainbow-colored logos on their uniforms for Pride Night. Ryan Ruby, a gay athlete, said this sends a very clear message that LGBT people are not welcome here. Oh, simply for not wanting to wear the extra flair? That's what that sends? So we have no choice in the matter but to submit to your view of how the world should be. He says, such antiquated behavior actively hurts the team. It's hard enough to be gay in baseball. Why? Why don't you just play sports? Like, why don't you just play the game? Show up and do your job. Why has it got to be something that everybody... And do you want them to just pretend they agree with you even when they don't? The number of players that didn't wear the rainbow-colored patches cited faith-based decisions. You know, people have their personal beliefs, and it should be their right to decide what they wear or not. But Ruby insists that the guys are going out of their way to make a point of opposing Pride Night. What does it say to all the young minor leaguers dreaming of one day getting a shot in the big league, that once you get there, you can live your dream, but only at the cost of hiding your authentic self from the world? Well, your authentic self, dude, you're a baseball player. But the taste of that Kool-Aid must be sweet. And I wonder if this guy, what he felt about those that were kneeling during the national anthem. How about the American flag? Should people have to stand for the national anthem to honor those that fought for the freedom that you're now enjoying and kind of rubbing in everybody's face? I mean, Sarah Spain calls the Rays players bigots just for not wearing a patch. Okay, well, wear a crucifix on Christmas, on Easter. Oh no, we can't have that, because remember, the issue is never the issue. The revolution is always the issue. That's what's going on. Brittany Griner, she said that we shouldn't be playing the national anthem. I wonder if she appreciates that freedom a little bit more now. Even across the pond, world heavyweight champ Tyson Fury is speaking out against the illegal boat migrants coming across. Why don't we help our own people? But as I've been saying, once these athletes, once these men that inspire other men and attract all the women start going truther, there's no name you can call them. There's no AstroTurf campaign. There's no amount of money you can spend. There's no amount of censorship. This is why they gatekeep. Like, look at why if you see like a musician on stage, you know that there's something on that guy, because if he has millions of people in front of him, all he's got to say is Epstein didn't kill himself, and there's 4 million red-pilled people right then and there that are going to follow him. You can be guaranteed that most famous people are gatekept, if not all, and they're gagged. And actors are fairly replaceable, good-looking, and they can play pretend. Singers are fairly replaceable, you know. There's a lot of people out there that can sing very well that aren't famous. I wonder why. But athletes, there's only so many of them that can do the job. Rage Against the Machine isn't actually raging against the machine. They wouldn't be allowed to sell millions of albums. They wouldn't be invited on SNL if they were actually a threat to the system. In fact, they're actively bulwarking an authoritarian state. You can even see here in the Daily Beast, you're going to miss the deep state when it's gone. Are you kidding me? I thought the deep state was a Trump myth. Now leftists are openly running defense for it. Things must be going great. Now the permanent bureaucracy, the puppet masters that are making Joe Biden's arms go up and down and move his mouth and all that, They're as real as anything, right? Oh, the deep state's real, and you're going to miss it when it's gone. You're going to miss the permanent political class. You're going to miss the forever wars. You're going to miss the ever-increasing taxes and inflation and debt, the globalist outsourcing of American manufacturing jobs that have decreased the standard of living every year in America. You haven't seen an improvement in earnings, inflation adjusted in this country since the 70s. But we should all be good global citizens, right, Greg Graffin? They've gutted the middle class. Oh, why is everybody poor? Why are there so many homeless people? Why is it so hard to get a start? Oh, probably the deep state. It's too busy playing geopolitics and setting up a new world order than it is actually putting Americans first. Oh, look, they're still killing people. Epstein's close business associate found dead in his apartment. Boy, what did he know? Who did he know? Who was he a threat to? They're still trying to clean up these messes. The Clintons have offed at least 2 people in the past year. Yeah, nobody's going to pay attention when I say something like this, or even someone as big as Tim Pool. But you get some athletes writing Epstein didn't kill himself on their skulls, and people are going to stand up and take notice. The Scandi cucks, one of the most cucked, weakest nations in the world, in the Western world, suddenly has their anti-immigrant Eurosceptic party becoming the second largest party, 21.5% compared to the ruling Social Democrats' 27.8%. It's only about 6 percentage points away. I bet you it's growing. But I'm sure you'll hear all about it on CNN, who's fired Brian Stelter and rededicated itself to speaking truth rather than globalist, Democrat-approved talking points, with articles like CNN tells viewers monkeypox is not sexually transmitted. And this is only the beginning. Just wait until these athletes start going on rants. Just wait until these athletes start writing on their skulls that Building 7 did not collapse due to office fire.